What's going on here from Hammerhead? This is just an impromptu little stream here. No plans to go on YouTube to stream. We'll just have to try and keep our mouths shut, I guess, more than anything. So I'm just going to sit here and chat a little bit, and maybe if some of you folks are around, you'll join in. That would be cool. Any case, so what's next? I don't know. I don't know what's next. What's up, King? My friends are out of the clink. That's good. Yeah, I'm happy about that. But they're out with their horrendous conditions that they're trying to fight. Um, I don't know. I think we're past the point of speeches and protesting, to be completely honest. Turners by turning. Hello, my friend. I think we're well beyond that, to be completely honest with you. Um, every day I wake up now and I try and find my center, and I get in the Word and I read it and I pray and I try and find my center. And it seems like it's getting harder and harder and harder to find my center. It's just the way things are and the weight of it. And I know you guys understand. You're my people. Of course you understand the weight of it, right? It's heavy. It's a heavy load. And I know that verse where it's where you basically bring me your heavy burdens and I will give you peace, and I pray that and I hope for it. I certainly do, and believe that he's capable of doing it. But the thing of it is, it's just not sometimes in our time, it's in his time. And that's something that's difficult for us as people to realize, that we sometimes have to wait on other things. We have to wait on it. And we're living in a I want everything now society, right? As evidenced by, well, you guys are living in it too. You're on this planet like I am. You must see it. I'd like to sit here and say everything's great and just share funny jokes and kitty cat photographs and videos with you guys. Wouldn't that be awesome if I could just do that? Or get back to making mechanical videos and have my whole heart into it. Because you guys have probably figured out by now that when I do something, I usually go all in. And that's just the type of person I am, right? Yeah, you feel like you're on standby. Exactly, Kim. Yeah, you know it. You know exactly what I'm saying. You feel like you're on standby, right? But anyway, that's pretty much the way it is. I wasn't planning on coming in here today, but I figured I would. I just get out of the shower. As you can tell by my lovely locks, they're all folded back. But anyway, I'm just puttering around the yard today. I was off. I've got my motorcycle running. I had two chainsaws I bought off a guy, and both of them run. And one of them needs a chain in a bar, but they both run, so that's good. I've been working around the yard doing that, trying to get that together, and it's been going good. And in any case, and it was kind of a nice day today. It was mild. It was like on the positive side of things. It was like plus 10 or 12 or something later this afternoon, and and it was sunny for most of the day. And my solar panels got a good charge today, so that's all good. Man, we got a pile of people in here tonight. You guys must have been just hanging out on YouTube, just checking out cat videos, or what? I got Katie, I got Dale, I got Nancy Russell, I get Gary Pickering, I get Kim Dixon, of course, my good friend Kim. I get lots of people in here. Walrens from Minnesota, awesome. But anyway, so what's been going on with you guys? Again, I don't watch mainstream, as you folks know. I don't watch mainstream media. There's no point in it. You're not going to get the full tilt boogie, so to speak, i.e. the truth from that avenue. So, but anyway, yeah, so I guess as long as we don't talk about certain subjects here and we just talk about cat videos, we're all good, right? Or dogs, certain dog breeds. I'd like to tell you the story about my dog, and it might bring me to tears. I hope it doesn't. But anyway, I had a dog, and I had him as a puppy, and he was 49 days old when I got him. He was a German wire-haired pointer. And I got him back in 2006, and I went to the house to pick him up, and there was a big litter. He had 9 brothers and sisters, and they were all in the one room. And I was trying to figure out which dog to take, because it was my first hunting dog, but my first dog as an adult. I'd had pets when I was a kid. But so anyway, I had a pocket full of pheasant feathers because I'm a hunter. And I took the feathers out and I was kind of sprinkling them a little bit around and I was rubbing my fingers on them. And then I put my fingers on the ground. And then all of a sudden, there was two dogs out of the bunch that came over to investigate it. And they started sniffing around. They started trying to dig in my pocket and stuff. And I'm like, I got these two here that are kind of digging this. So anyway, so I took one of the feathers when they weren't looking and I stuck it in the wood pile that was in the back of the room. This was in this guy's basement. He was a dog breeder and he had bred wire-haired pointers is all he bred from 1972. And he bred them for hunting breeds, not for like shows and stuff. So they weren't like perfect examples, but they were great hunters. They had that drive in them. So this one puppy, he kept going back to the wood pile and they'd swat him away. And he kept going back to the wood pile and they'd swat him away. And he'd keep on going back to the wood pile with his little stubby wire hair feet and his little stumpy tail. They have little tails where they cut them off as pups so they don't break them in the woods. That's why pointers have short little stubs, because they're in the woods and they'd break their tail otherwise. But anyway, he kept going back to the wood pile. So I'm like, I kind of like this dog. And I was thinking to myself, this would be the perfect animal for me because he's just like I am. He's headstrong, and he doesn't quit. And, well, long story short, I had to put him down myself 4 months ago on his 16th birthday, just about, and just tore my soul out doing it. But anyway, he was a good friend my whole life, his whole life, 16 years. He was with me through thick and thin, several trips across Canada, lots of hunting excursions, just a really, really good, honest friend. And what else can a man ask for in life than a good, honest friend, right? And that dog was loyal, I'll tell you what. And we had our squabbles. He bit me 3 or 4 times, and I bit him too on the ear. And we had our squabbles, but he was a faithful, loyal companion. And says there in the book, what greater love can a man have than to give his life for a friend? Well, I'll tell you right now, he might have been a dog, but I would have given my life for him. There's no question about it. And you get so attached to them, right? And they stop becoming dogs and they become friends and they become family. And that's why, I really can't have another dog right now because I just don't know if I can handle it. The inevitableness of it, right? You know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, his name was Dutch. He was a German wire-haired pointer, liver and roan. He was about 67 pounds, 68 pounds. He was a male and just a fantastic dog. Friendly enough, although that breed has been known to be aloof, he was friendly enough. But if you came in the house at night, he was a different breed altogether. You didn't want to knock on my door, boy, I'll tell you what, at night, because he would have something to say about it. And they're not exactly pushovers, those dogs. They can be aggressive. But anyway, living in the country, it's nice to have a dog out here. It was nice because, for safety and stuff like that. But anyway, just using that as an example of our times. I mean, it's hard to find friends nowadays that are loyal. You guys know what I mean, right? How many friends do you have that would give their life for you? I got a couple that I can name right now that I'm sure would, and I would for them. But it's a rare thing. It's a rare thing to have that kind of loyalty. When you hear about this, and you hear about brotherhood, and you hear about this and that, but some people don't even know what real brotherhood is, right? It's not something you see on TV or you see on the movies or the Sons of Anarchy or something like that. That's not brotherhood. Brotherhood is when you would give your life for your brother and they give their life for you. That's true brotherhood. And it's something you can't force. It has to be natural occurring between people. It doesn't have to be necessarily man and man or woman and woman, or it can be a number of different combinations, Am I even allowed to say man anymore, or woman? Isn't it, I have to use the pronouns now, don't I? It, they, them, their, whatever, but there's like 16,000 of them that I'll never remember. But anyway, I should shut up about that because it's probably, they don't like that either. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know what else really much to tell you. They've made it essentially illegal to protest here in Nova Scotia. Again, once again, you can't go to politicians' houses or health services or anyone that's even a doctor or a nurse or anybody like that. You're not allowed to even go to their home or to protest in any way, shape, or form around them, or even be near their residence. And you're liable to all these fines. And see, they made them all criminal fines now, right? So my friends there, they get charged criminally. Okay, it wasn't a misdemeanor; it was a criminal charge, which will be on their record for the rest of their lives. Not that that matters, but they're making them out to be criminals. Well, they never had a court date. They've never been heard by a jury of their peers. But nowadays, it's guilty until proven innocent. It's not innocent until proven guilty. That was back then. That was way back when, in the 50s and the 60s and stuff, right? 70s even. That's the old world. That's not the new world, right? And you may sense a little bit of bitterness in my voice, and you're correct. You're 100% correct. There is some bitterness there, right? I deal with it every day. I try and deal with it. And just things like going for a walk in nature helps me sometimes. And I forget about that, and I start to get focused on what's really important, you know, rather than the fictitious things of this futile dust of a life that just goes poof, and it's gone, right? So you have to put your faith and your trust in something other than yourself, and try and stay focused on what's really important and what's not important, because there's a whole lot of not important. And of course, everyone's going to tell you it is important, but it's not really. Push comes to shove, it's not. And people that have had sicknesses in their lives and have been at death's door can tell you what's important and what's not important. Sadly, some people don't get that clarity until they're at the edge of their life, at the end of their life. But I guess I think too much. I mean, I've been told that my whole life, that you overthink things. I mean, keep them simple, and I'm all about keeping things simple. Trust me. I do that in my personal life, my work life, everything. I try and keep it as simple and basic as possible. But there was a time when I didn't keep it simple and basic, and I went overboard on everything, and paid the consequences, of course, for that type of life. And but anyway, there's nothing wrong with simplicity. You know, there's nothing wrong with a can of beans. If it's enjoyed in good company or in quiet, whichever you need, whichever matters to you at that moment. Um, there's nothing wrong with simple stuff, simple things, right? I made homemade bread the other day with my own two hands. I don't buy store bought bread. I make it just because I know how, and I've been doing it for 20 some years. And people like my bread. It's simple. There's no eggs in it. There's no nothing. It's just very, very basic. And it's a white bread, and it's probably good for you. But you got to focus on them things, and not try and get sucked in by all the latest and greatest that's going on. Oh, what are the celebrities doing? I don't care what they're doing. I got to be honest. I couldn't care less what they're doing, you know. But we're looking for some loyalness, some loyalty, and some honor. Go look in the dictionary and read what it says, what the definition of honor is, and then photocopy it and send it to your local politician. Go look in the dictionary and read what honor is. And see, years ago, even when I was a child, there was honorable men around then, right? And you didn't have to give them a definition of it, or they knew what it was, because their fathers before them and their grandfathers and great grandmothers and stuff before them were honorable people. They knew what honor was, right? Honor is when you give your word, you live up to your word, right? You give your word, you do what you say you're going to do. You don't have excuses. You do what you say, and you mean what you say, right? And back then, you could have an opinion. There was men and women that used to go to town hall meetings years ago, that never said a word for months, hardly said a thing to anybody. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'd pipe up and say something. But I'll tell you, whenever those people spoke, You could hear it in the room. It's like a pin dropped. Everybody was listening. Everybody wanted to hear what this person had to say, right? I'm not saying I'm one of them because I'm more the opposite. I'm more of a loudmouth than a quiet mouth. Some of you probably figured out by now. But any case, I'm not going to give up, and I want you guys to share this channel with people still, and share my Rumble channel, and subscribe. Get people to subscribe to my channel, so we can build this database of truthers. We just have to be careful what we say. We can talk about subjects like this because they're all opinion based. I'm not giving you any medical information here or any type of information other than my own life experience, right? What I've seen in my amount of time that I've lived on this life, lived on this planet, right? I'm old school. I don't agree with the new way, right? I'm old school. I believe in honor and handshakes and looking a man in the eye and being able to tell his character based on some of that, right? That's the way I've always been. It's the way I'm always going to be. Never going to change as far as that goes. I'm old school. And there's nothing wrong with being old school, right? A lot of the old ways, people say, oh, well, there's a new, greater way of doing it. Okay, well, if that works for you, I have no problem with it. But don't tell me that it has to work for me, because I know I've got my system down already, right? I know what works for me and what doesn't work for me, right? I figured that out over years of doing it maybe the wrong way, right? Sadly, the way I was brought up and the way I live my life is I get the exam oftentimes long before I ever get the lesson. So I do everything by having the test first and then I get the lesson afterwards. And that's pretty much how I've lived. Christopher 1993. This is why if we do alternate communities, go completely old school, which is what I am teaching in real life. Well, great. That's what you should teach. I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with the old school way of living. People lived just fine and were happy and raised families and all that back then. So why can't it be the same now? Katie says, I came from awesome, strong, beautiful stock. Well, that's awesome. That's good. It's hard to find now. It's rare. It seems rare. Everybody seems to want to jump off the cliff now. You know what I mean? Right? I know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. And they all seem to want to dive into the greatest and latest, and just never been in a hurry to do anything. Yeah, thanks, Freebird. It's nice to be back on. But again, I have to be very careful what I say. Obviously, they don't like it. So that's all right. I'm used to not being liked, right? I don't have to seek anybody's approval. I've never had to be like that. That's why I'm completely fine being alone for months and months and months at a time without seeing another human being, because I don't need it. And I've got everything I need. Although that being said, I'm still sociable. I like to be sociable. I like to have good conversations with people. I like to share love and, give love and receive love just like anybody else. I'm no different in that regard. But, it's just the way it has to be. I mean, yeah, it's, everyone's talking about how they want to leave the country and stuff. Well, I'm not leaving. Where are you going to go? There's no place you're going to run. There's no place to go. I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. What kind of an example would I be? And I've said this before. I'm not, it's not that I'm some big hero or nothing. It's just I'm a man who is not going to be pushed around. The end. No matter what. Right? So if you think that I'm one of these people that's a pushover that just bends to the will of whomever, you're wrong. I'm not that way. I only listen to God. I don't listen to man. He's over here, right? It's over here. Don't even hear him most of the time, right? But I want you guys to understand, though, that people like myself, all we ever wanted in life was to be left alone. We just wanted to be left alone. We didn't want any interference from anyone in how we live. Just wanted to be left. All they had to do to avoid confrontation or trouble was just not bother us. Just not, it's simple. Just don't bother us. But they can't have that, right? They got to have every man, woman, and child, right? Again, I got to be careful what I say here, right? And I will be putting short videos on YouTube and to tell you guys to go over to Rumble, because I really have a real hot one to talk about, and I'll be doing all those conversations over there. I have a new streaming service, so I can stream from there, from my streaming service, right directly to Rumble. So those of you that haven't gone to Rumble, you can find me at Iron Crow 1972 on Rumble. I'll type it in the thing here. That's not the exact link, obviously, but my last two videos on YouTube, I put the direct link to the channel in there. So just go in there and look at the pinned comment, which is the top comment, or in the description, and it'll be in there, because I've had a lot of you folks ask about that. So that's where we're going to gradually, a lot of folks have already gone over there because it's a freedom platform. Seems to be, anyway. Like, I don't know, I haven't done enough to know, but it seems to be that way. You sure do see a lot of things over there, a lot of stuff. Not that what we're talking about is all that bad. It's not bad at all. It's just an opinion, right? And we're not allowed to speak it here, though. So, in any case, I hope everybody's centered, and I hope you're doing, you're peaceful, and you're having peace. You know, and your relationships with your families are getting better or improving. I started talking with my mother and father again after 2 years, pretty much there, but about a month ago. It's nice to speak to them again. Of course, we're still not able to talk about much, but hey, it's worth a try, you know. And I told them right from the get go that I didn't hate anybody. I wasn't going to hate them, and you know, it's just the way it is. You know, you have to learn to forgive, right? You'll find that out. The older you get, the more you have to learn how to forgive. You know, it's not about being right or wrong. It's never been about that. And I'm okay about not you know, being right. I'm okay to not be right. I don't have to be right. Right? Right? I don't have to be right. I can be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I could sit here and tell you years worth of stories about how wrong I've been in the past. And I'm sure you guys could too, but you got to learn to forgive, right? And just let it go. And what's the point of hanging on to it? It's all it is dragging your soul down, right? It's a heavy weight on you, right? So anyway, forgive, you know, and I'm going to do my best to live my best, most authentic, most genuine self every day, and I encourage you guys to do the same, no matter what that is. And nobody has to agree with it. Nobody has to agree with it, how you live or what, you know. Try and find some peace with your Lord and your Savior, your God, or you know. Obviously, I don't go doing things that put evil on me or on other people. You know, and it comes all back down to common law, I believe, anyway. And I think I told you guys about that. Common law is the original law of the land. It was here long before there was any other legal system or law system. And it has one basic rule, and that is do no harm. That's the basic, only real rule there is in common law, and it applies to everything. Do no harm. Don't have fraud in your contracts. Don't defraud somebody. If you break something of a brother or sister's, replace it. Just morality, common sense things. That's why they call it common law, because it applies to everybody, all the common people of the land. It applies to them equally. The justice system is supposed to, but it was just laid over top to hide all this stuff, right? Thinking that you're in the right place, but if it's not a court of record, it's not a proper venue for a man or a woman. And when a man and a woman is an honor and they're in a common law court, they can't be represented by a lawyer or by somebody else. There can be no third party. There has to be just you and the person who's claiming a trespass against you, another man or a woman, or, you know, nowadays, I guess I'm probably going to get banned now for this, saying man or woman. Listen, you're not allowed to say that no more, right? Can you imagine living in a world like that? Right, here it is. What is it? March 27th, 2022, and you can't say that, right? I'm not going to live in a land where my speech, I have to comply with certain people's avenues of speech. No, I'm not doing that. No, I didn't. I never signed any contract to behave in such a way. You know, you can call it whatever you want, but the truth of it is that anytime you have an opinion that they don't like, they'll just label it as something. They'll call it hate speech, or they'll call it whatever big keynote word of the day that seems to be popular with the folks, right? I have a word for it, but I can't say it on here. But anyway, I'm just trying to tell you guys how I really think about things, right? And I guess the farther we get on this journey together, the more I let truth slide out of my mouth that I probably should have kept in. But I can't do that. Sadly, I'm one of these people that doesn't have a filter on their mouth. You know, and that's gotten me into a lot of trouble in life. You know, but there's been some real friendships that have developed from that as well, because there's other folks, believe it or not, out there that are like that, and they appreciate that quality in somebody, the no filter thing, right? And I'm not saying to the point of being angry or being mean or malicious with somebody. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying speaking your truth, whatever it happens to be, no matter who's in the room or how unpopular it might be, right? And your real friends, your true friends, your true brothers and sisters will allow you to speak that without any malice or any maliciousness or any form of I'm going to have to get back at this person, or because they understand and they feel the same way that they should be allowed their truth as well, right? So no guessing without the filter. That's what I mean. That's what Jen Campbell said. Hey, Jen. No, there's not. I am what I am, and you get what you get. And obviously, some of you folks like my style, so to speak, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here on a Sunday night giving up your time, listen to me yak, right? And I feel the same way about you folks. I've gotten to meet some of you in person, and it's been a real honor and a real pleasure for me to meet some of you folks in person. You know, and the ones that I haven't met in person, I've had conversations with you on offline, and you know, I know your struggles. I know what some of you are going through, and I don't know what some of you are going through. But we can all come here and support each other, can we not? They haven't made a law against that yet, have they? I'm not up to date with the latest nonsense that's come out of the MPs and all that. So I don't know. Maybe over the weekend they did make a law that says you can't come together and share opinions. I know that social media sites are getting more stringent on that because they don't want people like us communicating together and talking amongst ourselves and sharing ideas. Ooh, the scary idea. Did you ever see that episode of The Simpsons when Lisa said something to one of her teachers, and she had a little button under her desk that said independent thought alarm, and she started pushing it like 3 or 4 times, and it went right into Skinner's office, and he's like, independent thought alarm, that's like the 3rd one we've had today. That children are overstimulated. That's what he said. I laugh every time I see that, if I happen to catch an episode of that, but it's true. Yeah, I'm a proud fringer. I can honestly say that. I'm a proud fringer. Yeah. I don't want to be part of the mainstream, right? There's nothing there for me. 0. Yeah, just a bunch of unhappiness and unhealthiness, right? The fact of the matter is, whether we all want to admit it or not, we're flesh and blood, and at some point our heart's going to stop. Right? We're going to breathe our last breath. And it's not something you think about when you're in your 20s. You know, when I was in the military and stuff, I thought I was invincible. I was Superman. I was on kryptonite. And I couldn't be harmed. I could fall off a telephone pole and pick the splinters out of my leg and continue climbing. You know, and it's just not even faze me. You know, nowadays I roll out of bed some mornings and I feel like I got run over by a freight train overnight. And I screwed up and I was switching tracks and I ended up slipping and falling under the locomotive. Right? But anyway, I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey, right? And it goes by so quick, right? But anyway, Trio 1, I think that's what it says. Exactly, Hammer. I'm 70 and you think about it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and the journey from 20 to 50 to 60 to 70 is quick. It goes by in a heartbeat, right? Faster than you can even imagine, right? But anyway, it's not that it's a bad thing. Sometimes they used to look at like growing old as a badge of honor, right? Gray hair. I think it says something about that in the Bible about how it's a badge of honor for a man to get old and have gray hair and wisdom, right? And not that wisdom necessarily comes with old age, but a lot of times it does because you've got so much life experience. One can't help but learn something in 70 years or whatever amount of time you've been on the planet, right? One can't help but learn something, you know? I often used to joke, and someone new would come along. They're like, "My name is so and so." I'm like, "Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me." And they're like, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'll have to forget 3 or 4 things if I'm going to learn your name, because I got so much stuff jammed up in there, right? That it's coming out both ears and my nostrils as well." But in any case, yeah, Iron Crow 1972 on Rumble. You guys go and subscribe to me there and share those videos. There's a bunch of videos. One video down there in the bottom where the cops came when we shut the highway down there last June. And there was 80 RCMP there that night. And we stood abreast of them for hours, toe to toe. And there was a couple people arrested, but we didn't give. And a lot of people ran away because they were scared, right? And that's understandable. But we're living in a time now where you're going to have to be bold as a lion and brave, you know, and not run away. That's the kind of people I want to know, is the ones that are not going to run away, right? They're going to stand no matter what, right? So this guy's garage is in the house. Mr. Sean, how's it going, buddy? Nice to have you in here. I just thought I'd do an impromptu live here. We're keeping it clean, Sean. We're keeping our mouth shut about certain things. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we're trying to just tell a few stories. And I told a story about my dog, Dutch, and I'm telling a few life stories here, letting a few cats out of the bag, so to speak. And everybody must have been on the internet here watching cat videos, is all I can figure out, because there a lot of my people were on here. They were in the vicinity, not too far away. We got to do what we got to do. You're right, buddy. You're right. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with cat videos. And one guy says that's why the internet was created, for cat and dog videos. You know, I've watched them. Who hasn't watched a cat video on YouTube or on TikTok or wherever, right? I try not to spend all my time doing that sort of thing, because you never ever get anything done if you're doing that. You guys wouldn't mind, just go out and smash the like button there. And I don't know how much longer I'll be on, but a little while. And smash the like button so we can get a few more folks in here. Check your subscriptions, because they've been falling off like leaves, like off of an October tree, red maple. And make sure you're subscribed. And if you wouldn't mind, share the videos with people so they can subscribe. Honk, 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 honk. Yeah, there's another story I could tell you. I was out talking to my buddy in the yard the other day, and did in a pile of about, I don't know, there must have been about 75 Canada geese go flying right over the house, and they were honking their guts out. Honk, 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 honk. I looked over at my buddy and I said, I bet you those people in Ottawa are having PTSD syndrome over this, all the honking that's going on, right? But anyway, it's good to see the geese back. They usually come back every year around my birthday. But anyway, it's good to see them back. And, yeah, the days are getting longer. It's 7 o'clock here, and it's still light outside. And I'll just show you guys a quick little picture outdoors here. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. But it's my bird feeder that I made out of a juice glass for iced tea, and just some of the outdoor scenery. Anyway, sorry about the shakiness. I got one of those mobile or movable camera things that you can just twist it around. But any case, yeah, so it's bright, it's light and bright out. The only thing we got to worry about now outside is as things warm up here is ticks. We have an awful problem with ticks, deer ticks, and that sort of thing in this province. There's so many of them. So every time you go outside, and it's usually from May until mid-June or the end of June, they're really bad. You have to check yourself over if you've been outside. And you can do things like you can put tape around your boots or your pant legs to keep them from coming up there. You can, if you don't mind chemicals, you can put like deep woods off or something on you. There's some other things you can do. I think they don't like not garlic. Was it? There's some other summer savory or some other thing you can put on yourself that they don't like. Yeah, guinea hens love ticks. Yeah, I did learn that last year. So maybe I should get some guinea hens. They're kind of fun to watch. Those things anyway run around, and they love to eat ticks. So there's several smorgasbords full of them up here. Yeah, I get a nice little spot up here. It's secluded. I like secluded. But yeah, we get some garden boxes, and I got some manure in bags. I'm going to pick up a half-ton load of manure here shortly whenever the snow goes. We're not done with the winter weather yet because there'll be one more doozy, as we call it here in the East Coast, and there'll be at least one more good one before it's done. But anyway, I was just trying to do a few things today to speed things along a bit, get some chores done that I've been kind of putting off. Like getting those saws running and stuff. And I'm going to order up a bar and chain for one of them here, and another file so I can sharpen all my own chains and stuff. And you just got to have stuff like that if you're living up in a homestead. And I went through a cord and a half of winter this winter. It wasn't too bad for wood, but we have to start the wood in May, June. We have to start cutting it for the next year, and getting it inside a building of some sort or out of the weather so it can dry out enough that it'll provide good heat. But it was plenty warm in here this winter. It was 31 degrees. I had to open up the windows a few times, just blowing the heat right out of here. And all I have is a New Englander wood stove. You can probably see it in the background there. It's made for 1,800 square feet, and I have about a little over half of that. So it'll definitely put the heat in. Yeah. But anyway, it's too bad we can't talk about the events of the day, but I grow a little bit of everything. I'm not a real good green thumb. Carrots, potatoes, generally, kale, lettuce, beets. Last year grew beets. This year I planted garlic in October. Krusty Canuck, stock up on your own supplies. Yes, sir. Hi, Krusty. I planted garlic in October, and I just looked in the box there today, and the little green shoots are starting to come up. They're probably about that high, so once they come up a little bit higher, I'm going to take the scissors and just snip the ends off them, and hopefully I'll have some fresh garlic and some to plant again this fall. You plant your garlic here in October, September, October. It's generally the best time. And I didn't even put any mulch over it. I just put some. I was making homemade beer, and I took some of the leftovers in the beer keg, and I threw that over the top of it with some rolled oats and the dregs in the keg, so to speak. And it seemed to protect it. They didn't die. I seen the green shoots coming out of them, so they're starting to come around. Krusty Canuck says sugar, flour, decent liquor, tobacco, ammo if you're a gun owner, etc. Yeah, those are good things to have. Definitely. A good source of water. I've got these things called life straws. Some of you people might know what they are, but basically it's a straw type thing, and you could suck water right out of a pond, and it'd be drinkable. There's a series of filters in it, and there's things like that available. Of course, we just grow the things that you're going to eat, obviously, right? Like I wish I could plant a bagel tree and have a grow cheese whiz, but I haven't been able to figure out that seed combination of the bagel tree and the cheese whiz tree, or the cheese whiz garden box. I still haven't figured that one out, but if I ever do, I'll let you guys know what the deal is. I think the biggest thing is the soil, and I've never tested my soil. I've kind of just mulched in a bunch of manure and stuff and had at her. But being realistically speaking, person should test it and see what the pH is. And carrots like a certain thing, and lettuce like something else, and potatoes like a kind of an acidic type soil. Everything likes its own thing. So I don't know, just get better at it. I just keep doing it. And we get enough food and we get enough stuff together that we can, feed ourselves, right? Yeah, we pressure can and stuff, and you know, just do the regular things that country folks 100 years ago would have done, right? And like I said, that information's a lot of it's lost. I was lucky enough for my grandmother showed me all that stuff when I was just a little boy. She showed me how to grow a garden and beat pressure canning food, and because that's how they lived. They didn't run to Sobeys every time they ran low of food. They went to the pantry, right? They used to buy like a half a beef or a half a cow or a pork or pig or whatever, and they'd bottle some of it, and they'd hang some of it, and they'd smoke some of it, and that's how they got by. They didn't just run to the store. I mean, I guess run to the store while we still can, but the questionality of the quality of what we're getting there is highly dubious, for lack of a better term. You don't know what's in this food that we're eating now. Some would suggest that it's not all that great for you, possibly. But anyway, there's nothing like doing things yourself anyway. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. And that's why I like wood heat. That's why I like chopping my own firewood, because it gives me a sense of accomplishment. I worked for my heat, right? And it feels good when it's snowing and blowing outside and it's 20 below, and you shove a nice piece of beech or apple or something in the stove and you hear it crackle because it's just perfect. And you're getting all that heat from it, right? There's no heat like wood heat. I've had them all. I've had propane, electric, gas, oil, you name it. But there's no heat like wood heat, in my opinion. I should just keep every 30 seconds putting that in there, my opinion. Valerie, I'd like to talk about that, but I really can't. I think they're trying to, but it's a subject I sort of got to stay away from. We can have a chat about that over on Rumble, or if you guys want a private message me, I'd love to share my thoughts. But in any case, yeah, and it just so happens that we have a lot of wild apples around. I've got an orchard here, and there's 14 trees in it, and that's always a nice treat, being able to have apples. But there's a million other things you can do, right? And just do something, though, for sure, because the way this whole thing's going, the way this whole globe's spinning, the way things are looking, I don't know, man. I can't see it, right? But anyway, I can't really, like I said, I can't really talk too much about that. But Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on growing your own food? And some of you guys are probably gardeners. You're probably way better than I am at it. I'm not good at it hardly at all. I can grow enough, but I'm not like my carrots aren't huge or anything, or they're not. There used to be a mushroom compost plant up somewhere down here. I forget where. I think it was down in Middleton. It was a mushroom compost plant, and people used to get mushroom compost by the truckload. And when we were doing that, the gardens were big, the yields were big, and the fruit itself was big. And I did learn with tomato plants that unless you chop them off at a certain point and don't allow the plant to grow high and bush out so that it can put all its energy into the fruit, which is the tomato, then you'll have really small tomatoes. So you got to kind of prune them. You got to pinch them off, or not allow them to spread and put all its energy into growing the leaf. You want that energy to go into growing the fruit. So once you start doing that, the tomatoes started getting bigger. But there's a million things you can do with tomatoes. You can can them. You can make spaghetti sauce out of them. You can make salsa, anything pretty much. But in any case, yeah. So that's all I'm doing, pretty much. Weather's getting better. Days are getting longer, so we're thinking about that sort of thing again. And I haven't started any seeds indoors. I haven't any luck starting seeds indoors. I tried doing that a few times, and then as soon as you put them out in the sun, if you don't cover them, the sun either burns them to oblivion, or they don't seem to, they stunts their growth. And people were saying, well, put them out a half an hour a day and gradually build up their tolerance. I'm way too lazy for that. So I think my best tip is for myself is just to plant from seed outside and just start like the third or fourth week of May and just hope that the frost doesn't get them. Sometimes we have frost here right up into the middle of June. So you got to kind of wait. You're supposed to wait till the last frost. Well, that can be a crapshoot. It's hard to say when that last frost is going to be. And garlic is cool. I mean, garlic's got so many properties. It's got medicinal properties. It's got all sorts of different things you can do with garlic, and that's why I like growing it. Starters are good. If you can buy good starters, that's good. Soak seeds in water for 24 hours and then wet a napkin. Yeah, you'll sort of get them to malt a little bit, eh? We used to do that with barley and corn. We get them to malt, so the little pieces that come out of the husks, right? Honey's fantastic for you. We eat a lot of honey. I eat a lot of honey. I'm starting to get away from sugar, and I'm starting to try and put a little bit of it in my coffee in the morning. And I like it. I seem to like it. If I put like a teaspoon, a quarter of a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon in with my coffee, and it's good. It goes well with coffee. I've been finding. I don't have bees. My brother does though. My brother's got a whole pile of bees. He's got, I think he's got a couple of queens, and he even goes away to get his queens, and he's big into beekeeping. I like to try and get some pure beeswax from them because that's got all kinds of things you can use that for. Pure beeswax. I try and get some of that from them. Maple syrup. It's funny you mentioned that. A buddy of mine right now, this very minute, is boiling off 96 liters of syrup, and he's got his boiler down there, and it's a great big flat pan. I think it's about 4 feet wide by about 4.5, 5 feet long, and he's boiling it off as we speak. Calls it the Sugar Shack, and he'll boil that off, and he'll be left with 2 to 3 liters. I think he said that's what he'll get from it. It's a whole pile of boiling for not much syrup, but the syrup that comes out of it is the maple syrup that comes out of it is top notch, right? I've got sugar maples on this property. There's a whole grove of them just over there. It's I probably have 15 or 20 of them that I could tap, and I might get into that at some point. His name isn't Reg, no, but yeah, a lot of people do the maple tree thing here, the sugar shack. It's a Canadian thing anyway, but people have been doing it. And that's another old thing that's been going on forever. The Indians were doing that, like around the time of Champlain, probably even before that, the 1600s. They were doing that, making maple syrup, and using what God gave them in nature, right? Use it all. That's why, like, if I want to hunt a deer, I try and use every speck of it. I get the smoker set up. I take the hide. I smoke the hide. I take every part of it, every little last centimeter of it. You can use the bones or the antlers to make tools. You can use them to hang pots over an open fire. You can use there's a million different uses for every part of the animal. That's the proper way of doing it, I think. And it honors. Remember, we were talking about honor at the first of this program. Well, that's part of being an honorable hunter, in my opinion, is using as much of it as you can, not wasting it, not wasting the life of the animal, right? But anyway, yeah, it's funny, Krusty. I was in the superstore the other day here in my local town, and I watched a guy pick up a $30 bottle of maple syrup and proceeded to drop it, and it smashed all over the floor. Smash! It just went flying. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, I said, that probably happens more than you would think. So anyway, he put his card over it, and then he went and got somebody to clean it up. But in any case, I sort of had to chuckle. A $30 bottle of maple syrup. I'm sure they're going to be pleased about that, but whatever. Mistakes happen, man. Celtic native brethren, you betcha. You learn stuff from everybody, right, as you go along. That's the right way of doing it anyway, I think. That's how I've learned everything, the hard way, pretty much. But it's just after a while you get tuned into that, but as far as the hunting part goes, and that comes natural because I grew up around it. I had aunts and uncles, and I had grandfathers, and they all were avid woodsmen. My Uncle Weldon went in the woods back in his late 80s and shot a bull moose in the middle of nowhere, near Turtle Creek, New Brunswick. And they had to go to my uncle's, I remember, with a tear jet, which was basically an Argo with chains on the wheels, to go way in the woods to get this big, and it was a massive big bull moose. Thing was probably tougher than an old army boot, but he went in and got it. Old Weldon, and there's another one he racked up. I think that was his last moose, but the man had shot enough moose probably to fill a large auditorium, floor to ceiling. And he had an old Winchester 3855 that he used. But anyway, they won't go into too much detail there because I know they don't love that subject either. But in any case, it's terrible when you got to like tippy-toe around things, and you got to tippy-toe around subjects and whatnot, but here we are. Oh yeah, I mean, the neighbors used to come to get some of the meat, Krusty. He'd hang it, right? He'd hang it, and they come cut it off. And I butchered one that some friends got in Alberta, and it was 6 of us, and we worked almost 4 days, 8 hours a day to get it cut up. It's an unbelievable, huge deal. It's a big task. The fun's over after the hunt is over. But anyway, yeah, folks. Well, that's about all I got to say, I guess, for now. Thanks for coming on tonight. You guys are cool. I appreciate it very much. If you don't mind, I'm going to say a little prayer quickly here for everybody, and then we'll go onwards and upwards. So, dear Lord, thank you for these wonderful people coming on here again. It's nice that we can still meet, we can still talk. We might not be able to talk about certain things, but we can still gather. And we ask to bless every one of them, every single person. If there's a certain person listening to my voice that has a need or hurt or a want that is necessary, we ask that you would visit that. Help us put on the full armor every day. Protect us from the evil spirits. Give us the energy, the peace, the fortitude, the love, the understanding, and the knowledge to continue on. In your name we pray it. Amen. So anyway, thanks for coming on, folks. Yeah, Waterman. I can't believe the injustice going on with your friends. Yeah, sadly, but I can believe it. It just seems to be the thing nowadays, right? Did you see a certain somebody at a certain EU Parliament get roasted by certain members of said certain Parliament? Maybe I'm vindictive, but I had to laugh over that. I replayed that sucker. I almost wore the replay button out on my computer playing that one. And it couldn't just run away and hide. Had to sit there and take it. Like you and I would have to. So anyway, God bless you, folks. Love you all. Please share this video. Please tell your friends to subscribe to this channel. We certainly could use the help. Peace out.